Good afternoon and welcome to Talking Horses, this Thursday edition. I'm Maggie Wolfendale with my good friend and colleague Anthony Stabile. Big A, pleasure to be on set with you.
What's happening? Been
Nothing.
a while.
I know. You're going to be a big part of the America's Day at the Races show coming up, as we do have the Breeders' Crown.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Saturday we'll be on all day, and I think we're on until 4 on Fox Sports 2, and then we kick over to SNY till 5:30.
Yep.
Yep. So the Breeders' Crown, for those of you not familiar, is basically the Breeders' Cup for harness racing, and they have the 2-year-old races on Friday night and the older horse races on Saturday afternoon. We'll cover them all, as well as Empire Showcase Day here at beautiful Belmont Park on Saturday.
Looking forward to that. Jessica Ott will be on site at the Meadowlands helping us out. And just so you know, we are off the turf today. We do have a fast main track. And because of the rain that we've had and the rain that we're forecasted to have, the 2 stakes on Showcase Day have been moved to the following weekend.
Smart move by the racing office. They're going to be run next Friday and Saturday, the 5th and 6th, the 2 Breeders' Cup days. And yeah, I believe our fearless leader in the communications department, Pat McKenna, tweeted out 4.8 inches of rain here at Belmont. We have basically our own tracking station in the infield. 4.8 inches of rain in 36 hours. It was,
coming down.
It was coming down. It was coming down. You don't live far from here. I live 8 miles away. I was in. I was having a cigar. I mean, the rain was just like driving home that night was unbearable.
I know. It was keeping us up at night, too, because it was coming down, that's for sure. But into just the time of the year where it doesn't dry out.
Doesn't dry out.
Also, we saw a Breeders' Cup pre-noms coming out yesterday. A little bit of controversy with regards to the turf racing, but the dirt racing, everybody who wanted to get in got in, just because there's not that international influence in those ones.
Not one oversubscribed dirt field. All 7 turf races, 7 dirt, 7 dirt, all 7 dirt races undersubscribed, all 7 turf races oversubscribed. I think it's just, it goes to show you not only the European influence, but how we've kind of moved away from dirt in this country. But only 7 in the filly and mare sprint.
Everybody afraid of Gamine, which
I'd be more afraid of Bella Sophia than I would be of Gamine at this point.
I would be hoping I had a closer. Belle's the one, obviously, might be the one if she gets the pace to run into.
I guess, yeah. I mean, going 7 furlongs. It's interesting. I was doing some of the dirt races yesterday and last night, and I made a bet with my man, our mutual friend Hirsch.
Yeah.
And
Hirsch from
Valley Stream, yes. Hershey the comic. I gave him $12 and higher. I think there's a really good chance a dirt horse doesn't pay $12 or higher in the 7 races.
I think that's a pretty good bet. I'd feel pretty safe with that.
I really think.
Unless something wacky happens in the 2-year-old race.
And and that's really, I think, where you'll be able to find, if you're going to find it.
Yeah.
But
somebody just stepping forward at the right time.
You look at those dirt races. I can't find it.
I know. All right. Well, Francisco, I promise I'm not going to pick on you like Andy does, but do we have any?
Come on, Francisco.
There we go. $25 free play for new members, plus the $200 deposit match bonus. Make sure you use promo code CUP25 when signing up. Check out NYRABets.com, as we are just a little over a week away. The 50-50 bonus as well between Belmont and Delaware Park. Make sure you opt in and check out the site for details. As Anthony says, gotta opt in. Also, the Belmont Saturday contest, win cash prizes, is a live money contest with $300 buy-in. Register Friday to play Saturday. Make sure you go to NYRA.com/contest for all that information. I know a lot of people love playing those. As always, you can check us out on America's Day at the races. Today, that is, at 12:30 to 5, covering the whole card here from Belmont Park. We also have some bonus coverage coming up this weekend, too, from Australia. But, Anthony, let's get into today's card as we kick things off with a 10 claimer going the 6 furlongs in here. And I felt as though it was kind of a 2-horse affair, although the board, as of early, not necessarily indicating that. Is that for real?
Well, gentle Annie, all the Annies and the guys and gals who have moms and sisters and daughters grandma's named Annie are they're in the pool early.
Yeah, coming back to the Gary Siaka barn. You went with number 1 in here. That's No Deal, who she was protected coming back from that layoff we saw up in Saratoga. Now she's third off the bench. You know, last time out, the race kind of did have a little bit more of an inside flow, I thought, and she kind of went wide into the lane. She is a bit of a bad actor, Anthony. I know she's one. They have to leave the paddock early. They have to go the right way around to the gate. They have to blindfold her to get her into the gate. Why did you like her here?
Well, this is the point now where you're supposed to yell at me for picking Wayne Potts. So do you want to just get it out?
Well, I thought I'd give you a little break. As you said, I'm feeling pretty easy.
You know, I had a tough time with this race. I didn't
So did
really
I.
want. I didn't want the speed. I didn't want the speeds because I thought there was a chance they might hit. I'd get yelled
Does that
at
ever
too.
happen, though?
No, it doesn't. But No Deal's dropping into the bottom now. Like you mentioned, they protected her first time, and this is a filly that has run closer to the bottom than they protected her for, and she's a bad actor, like you said. So the fact that they protected her, she ran well enough off the bench too. And then last time you pointed out that it was an inside flow. I'll also point out, they ran into a little bit of a ringer last time. The old My Roxy girl showed up and just took advantage of the inside and just blew their doors off. So
We'll see her later on the card.
we'll see her later today. There's not I don't think there's a My Roxy girl performance in with these 6 fillies that are left here today. And I just wanted a horse that I thought would maybe not take as much money as some of the other horses. I think Lovely Lady Lexi will take some money as well. So I just wanted a little bit of a better price. Again, like you said, don't look at the board right now. She'll be 5, 6, 7 to 1.
My problem is the pace came apart. Ultimately, yes, My Roxy Girl blew it apart, and she by far ran the best race of anybody. But as far as the early pace setters, they faded. And, No Deal had every right to close that gap a bit more, and she didn't. Now
No.
she drops again, but I get it. She can get the class relief here. She's one of the rare non-registered New York breds.
Yep.
So she had to play with open company her whole life. I went to Quality Stones in here. I think she's the fastest of the 2 speed horses in here. She gets Kendrick Carmouche aboard. Ralph Falcone, he plays the game very, very well, and he is going to drop her off of the effort, in which we'll check out her last race. She did stumble quite significantly, as we were supposed to have a head-on of this race here, but it didn't really cost her that much position. She came out running forward. Now, she battled here with the horse who is in the lead. That's Frills, who did come back and win with the 77 buyer, ultimately being run down by Miss Leanna. So I don't love the fact it's taken her, nearly 2 months actually, to get back to the races. She was too a vet scratch when entered at Parks on October 6th. So I didn't love that, but ultimately I went with her just because I thought she could control here with Kendrick Carmouche aboard. Extra effort. She's quick too, but it was a 4-horse field last time. Now, she goes out for Gustavo Rodriguez, who I think is, has claimed a bunch of horses, now running the back. We've seen him have success. So I do think she's dangerous too.
I always have a little trepidation with the horses that only win the conditioned races, and she's only won her 2 life and her 3 life condition.
Yep.
Now she takes, and look, it's not the toughest open 10 she's going to find, but it's still, you got fillies and mares in here that have won 5, 6, 7 races. So, yeah, I thought she was thorough. I thought Quality Stones made some sense. I wonder how much pressure extra effort puts on her early.
We'll see what happens. Manny Franco aboard. She was on the wrong lead too, halfway around the turn last time out over that muddy sealed racetrack. Race number 2, obviously affected by scratches significantly here as we are off the turf, and we only had 1 MTO unfortunately in here. We flip-flopped. I put Galena on top, but I can understand taking number 9 Tails.
No, I didn't. That's supposed to be 13, guys. 13-9. I don't know where you got 9-13 from. I haven't lost my mind quite that much yet.
That's quite all right.
Give me a few more.
Tails McKenna
Give me a few more weeks, and I'll probably get there. But not yet. So make that 13. I don't even know where that came from. 13.
Were you dyslexic?
It was clearly a 13. There's not a 9
Yeah.
in sight there.
No.
All right, there you go. That was good. That was a flip flop. I mean,
Nice. All right.
what are you supposed
I
to do
don't
here, Maggie?
know.
What are you supposed
it's
to do?
just Galena has the proven dirt form. You're taking Tails and McKenna and forgiving her for her first race, which she was rained off the turf. She was wired that day. It was her first start. I mean, Causeway of Dreams is a Giants Causeway out of a little bit more of a turf mare in Tulip Mania, though she has produced a dirt horse, does get Lasix for her second start, but That's a lot of guessing.
You
with
got
that
three.
horse.
You got three fillies left in here. Two of them have been intended to run on the dirt in all of their starts, even though Tales of McKenna, not named for Pat McKenna, was rained off in her debut, where she got beat up pole in the slop, and then you have a horse who's the dirt horse. I mean, it's a 3-horse field. There's not really much to say. I think
Moving
Galena
on.
should get the job done.
Race number 3 in here. We do. I can't believe they left Spun to Tot in.
So
I thought you had to scratch.
I am glad you said that, because this is very clear, folks. There is a scratch right through Spun
So
de
did-
Tot because
I mean, I
she's
did.
in
I
tomorrow.
almost did it.
She is in tomorrow.
She's in tomorrow, and I
I
thought
don't
in
know.
claiming races you had to.
That's what I thought. I thought in non-stakes races
Right,
or in
non-stakes
anything
races.
involving main track only. And this is not
Yeah,
the case here.
No,
I don't know.
She's in yeah.
And she's part of an entry tomorrow, too. Now, she's part of an entry today as well, but she's part of an entry tomorrow as well.
Now
she's part of
look,
an entry
neither
tomorrow.
of us have her in, but she's dangerous. Just because we went on the assumption when we set our picks in that she'd be scratched.
You know, and when I realized she was in, I thought about it. And then this filly's coming back quick off of 10 weeks. She's coming back away from a barn that's been heating up as of late. So I don't know if I want her back. And now she's under the gun from the inside. She has Shasta Star right to her outside, who has plenty of speed. You know, the more I thought about it, this entry is going to take an awful lot of money. And I think they're a good bet against today.
Okay.
I really do.
We both went to number 3, customer experience. As we mentioned, Gustavo Rodriguez. This is, I don't want to say a reclaim because it's ultimately not.
But it is.
It is, because he was the assistant for his brother Rudy Rodriguez when they had this horse previously.
And they've claimed this horse a couple of times. They've had this horse in their care and in their barn a couple of times, and now Gustavo out on his own. This is the first time Gustavo actually claimed this horse for himself and his primary owner, Andrew Gurdon. She ran well last time. Now you're going to look and see, well, she ran for 16. The truth of the matter is, Maggie, you go through this field, and yeah, it's a 32 on paper, but is this really the toughest 32 she's
No.
ever going to find?
No, I mean, her chief competition, I think, is the 5, Fair Regis in here. But do you really trust her?
There can't be any trust there. This is a mare who, despite being the exact 27 of 49 career starts, as
She made
of
nearly $630,000. She does command respect.
no
but-
question, but as of late,
Yeah.
last 18 months, her form has tailed off considerably to the point where her best race was at Finger Lakes. So, yes, is she the old Fair Regis shows up here, she chews up this field and spits it out.
But to be fair, also,
But where has she been?
too, and then it's only kind of as of late she's gotten very good,
Mm-hmm.
where she was running in cheaper races over the winter. So maybe
And
she's
was
just
not doing
coming-
well at all.
Right, and maybe she's just coming back down to reality and down to earth. And I did think she had a little bit of an excuse in her last race, where the important one, well, they have realized that the dirt is the surface for the
Yes.
important one, who came back and won her next start, though she dominated on the front end. And, you know, Fair Regis was chasing wide the entire way, which I think put her up against it a bit. Now, I ultimately, we both went with customer experience in here. Why do you like number 2, Shasta Star? Because it's Wayne Potts.
I originally thought Spun d'Etat was coming out, and I thought that she would be the controlling speed at here at a little bit of a price. Well, that's not the case now. You know, I think you have to talk about my Roxy girl in here, because she's going to take some money, and
She can be forward.
she's going to be forward, but she's not going to have the help of being drawn inside like she was last time. And you really, for another filly, kind of along the lines of Fair Regis, this is a mare that was tailing off considerably, and she comes up with that effort
For Charlie Baker, nonetheless.
off of 2, right. That's what I mean. Again, another one in here. I think there's money to be made in this race, because I think the horses that they're going to focus on, this entry and my Roxy girl, are both extremely vulnerable. I think they're both extremely vulnerable at short prices. I would try and mess around. You're left with 3. I'm probably going to box 2, 3, 5 in here and hope for the best.
I know. I mean, and look, like we said, we thought Spundata was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
The 1A, she's a black belt. I thought as of late she's been facing some somewhat better fields. She hasn't been running that well, but in her last two starts, she was wired by Anna's Fast. And I mean, going back to her last fast dirt sprint, which was a open A other than, she was beaten by Aunt Cat. And I mean, Whispering Pines at the time, it was going well. So there's some credence to having her a part.
I guess.
But
She's had success. My problem is her last 3 on wet tracks. She's had success and run good figs. Two of her
Right.
biggest figs have come on wet tracks, and she hasn't shown up at all.
yeah.
So.
All right. Race number 4. It does kick off the pick 6 sequence as we are off the turf, unfortunately, mile on the main track for these 2-year-old fillies. And actually, a lot of them stayed in here, Anthony. You went to number 13. Let's focus in on the MTOs first. Let's actually check out number 14, Carragate. Her last replay, her biggest problem, and maybe it's mitigated by her stretching out in distance, is that she can't get out of the gate necessarily. Now, we saw this race, I don't want to say completely fall apart, but the winner did come from last while rallying wide. Carragate did drop down to the fence here beneath Javier Castellano, who will be aboard once again. Do you like her stretching out? Because I've always thought she wanted to go longer.
Yeah, I do like her stretching out. Her pedigree by Arrogate, out of that Caramia Waymare who was okay, suggests she's going to want more ground.
Yeah.
She can win this race. She has to get over those gate woes.
I know.
And
that's why I couldn't.
It's not only that she brings it on herself, but by bringing it on yourself, you also leave yourself susceptible to the horse to your left and the horse to your right, right? Because they're still young horses, they're young fillies here. If she can find a way to get away from there, I think she's going to be tough. I think she's okay. I think she's done some running in all 3 of her races. I think she's okay. But, at some point, you got to get away from there cleanly, and she hasn't shown us that she could do that yet.
Well, her main competition is the 2 MTOs to either side of her, both of which stretching out in distance. Now, you went to the Jeremiah Engelhardt second-time starter, who they thought, well enough of to put her in the Lady Finger Stakes first time out. Now, it was funny watching the break of that race. They literally put her in and they broke. But she broke alertly. She just couldn't keep pace. So she was stuck chasing wide, but she stayed on well. And it just kind of spoke of a horse that's crying out for more distance. And she has a lovely pedigree. Being by Flatter, she is a 3/4 sister to I Still Miss You, who was a very talented 2-year-old. She won the Astoria Stakes here. She's
Remember her.
multiple stakes.
Bruce
winning
Brown,
New
right?
York bred. No, Jeremiah.
Oh, that was Jeremiah.
They're all Jeremiah.
Yes.
And also A Life That's Good, which I don't know.
I think
what
Bruce
she's
had the favorite in the Astoria that year.
Okay.
Why?
I
We
don't
had random
remember.
facts. I'll take
Yeah.
random facts for 600, Maggie.
That's your forte. As A Life That's Good, obviously, by Congrats, who's a full brother to Flatter. She's a New York bred stakes winner, too. So there's pedigree. So that's kind of why you think they put her in the stake first time out. But like I said, she ran like a horse that kind of wanted longer.
Yeah, she looked like a horse that, and you're 5-1 in a $100,000 stakes race first time out, and she ran well enough. She also looked like a horse that's certainly going to not only benefit from the stretch out, but from having that race under her belt.
Now, maybe you can use the horse that finished second in that Lady Finger Stakes, Belarus, as a kind of gauge, as I went to number 15, Carbon, who did finish just in front of Belarus in their debut together, or I don't know if it was Belarus's debut. I can't remember. But Carbon, she debuted on a sloppy racetrack. Then Linda went to the turf. In that sloppy track race, she kind of was under a ride the whole way. She did benefit from saving ground. But again, another horse that was just staying on. And it's not like the race was falling apart because the first and second place finishers ran 1-2 around the racetrack.
I think the knee-jerk reaction you see Ironicus on the top end of the pedigree is to try to source on the turf next time out.
But we saw an Ironicus win on the dirt.
It bothers me because the bottom half of this pedigree, there's 0 turf.
No. Yeah.
0. And now she's back, after being entered on turf, she's back in here, main track only. I guess they realize that despite being by Ironicus, she's not lawnmower material. So
No.
they go back to the main track. Yeah, I mean, the race is on the outside here in the main track only.
You went to just complete your super factor with a first-time starter by Japan. This one with more turf pedigree or synthetic pedigree, I think. And then took a shot here with Preposterous. She has experience. And in my notes, I wrote, she looks more like a dirt horse that wants to run long.
Interesting.
And I think she's had a little bit of trouble in both of her
She's
first
been a little bit of a
starts.
goofball in her 2 races.
Exactly.
The first time Joel Rosario was having a tough time with her.
Yep.
Last time, to me, it looked like the blinkers, and you'd hope the blinkers would have got her to focus, but I think it made her run more in spots as opposed to anything else. I don't know what to do with her. Maybe you're right. Maybe she wants to stretch out. I know people try to get these Union rags to take to the turf, but maybe getting to the main
It's because
track is going to help.
they're really not very good workhorses, I think. So everybody
So they
thinks,
look slower?
let's just go with
Okay.
dirt. But ultimately, he is a better dirt sire. So I think she's very interesting. I kind of put her in 4th. I probably would have had her higher, but I put her in 4th once I realized they left her in. So
Okay.
she's kind of. When do we take a break around here?
After the 5th.
All right.
We got
We'll
one
move
more.
on to race number 5. It's going 6.5 furlongs, beaten 35 at Claimer. And Anthony, I struggled with this race. Let's start with the horse that is coming in from out of town. And he's run fast figures, but I almost feel like he's run fast figures by default. And that's number 5, Prince James. We'll check out his replay from 2 back at Colonial. He was kind of coming off a bit of a replay here. I don't know why we're showing the start of this, guys. I said quarter to the wire, so if you can speed it up, that'd be great. Jump to the quarter pole. Okay, we'll just keep talking. Stabile. Wow, look
this
how
is great.
fast he is.
This is unbelievable.
I mean, he's unbeatable.
This is
He
in-game.
the
This is
eight-
in-game action right here.
He is the 8. So this is a fast pace. Ultimately, this is a fast pace that collapsed. We see the horse who does win, the 6 horse, I believe, in Sky We Trust. He's just going to follow this horse. And for me, and then watch the tail swishing action, which he does in each of his performances. When they get to the head of the lane here, I promise, I'm sorry, I this is not what I wanted. But
This is not what we ordered.
yes. Sending it back. No. Watch when the rider, Fergal Lynch, starts to ask him, watch the tail go with this guy here. You can see it flicking up and down with those Newton. And then he goes to the inside. He really didn't understand this move here. I mean, he might have been just lugging in, so he has to steady there. He has to go back. So kind of on this replay, you think, well, maybe this horse is a little bit interesting. But look at how this race just kind of flip-flopped. Those pace horses, they were tired. And then last time out, youngest of 5, led them on a Mary Chase. It was a 4-horse field. It was kind of one of those races where somebody had to be third, and I don't know. I don't trust him.
To me, he has too many figs that would beat this field to exclude him. I had a
agree.
tough time with this race like you did. And ultimately, I almost put him on top for that reason. But I said, you know what? I don't really like taking the shippers. I don't want to take, especially at a horse that could very well be.
How did we both end up on the same horse?
I mean, he's the fuzzy.
He's the speed.
He's the speed, and he's supposed to be the speed.
Charlie 5-0.
Charlie 5-0. He's supposed to be the
He
speed.
has Louis Saez. I feel pretty confident.
I do too. And that's part of it. We got Louis.
Because all of these horses are turning back. The majority of them that have legitimate shots.
He's the sprinter
Yeah.
in a race of turnbacks, and I think that's why we both probably gravitated towards him. I'm hoping he's forward. I'm hoping Devious Mo. And I know Devious Mo's not as fast as him, but Devious Mo is probably the only one with Jorge Vargas Jr. aboard who is an aggressive rider. I would think he could be the only thorn in the proverbial side of Charlie 5-0 on the front end today. But yeah, I wound up on him because I thought he'd be a decent enough price, and he'd certainly be forward in a race that does not have a lot of speed in it.
Now, advance notice, he could be a little bit more forward, I think, as well. And he is a horse that just tends to run evenly. So where you put him early is usually where he ends up late.
Right.
So I think it's in the best interest of Joel Rosario from that outside post position to just be stalking off those 2 aforementioned horses to give him the best chance. But let's face it, advance notice has had his chances, but he does make his second start for Rudy Rodriguez, but he's been in very good barns prior, and a reclaim by Mike Rapoli.
And he should get. See, the way I looked at it, I figured Devious Mo was in here to try to give advance notice a little help, keep whoever's company up front, and then let him pick up. Let advance notice pick
But
up.
you
some
didn't like
pieces.
this horse.
I don't like either. I don't really like either of them in here.
So you went with the 6 in here, like I did. Prince James, who I don't trust. Then you have Power Up Painter. I mean, I will say he was beaten by a nice horse in Judge and Jury last time out. The race was dominated up front. He was just too far back. For me, his 3 efforts since coming back off the layoff, he's barely shown any life. Now, he does get a bit of class relief here in this non-3 for the 35, but there's other horses getting class relief.
See, I think he gets a lot of class relief. He's running against a horse in Judge and Jury who looks to be a potential stakes horse, a horse in Admonton who's already a stakes horse, and some fast horses like Robert. And he gets back. To me, he looked like he completely needed the race last time off the little 10-week break, and now he gets back to a fast track after a couple of sloppy and muddy track tries 2 and 3 back. That race that he ran before the break in November of last year, I mean, he was running behind More Grateful when More Grateful was in good form, and Tale of the Union, who always gets a big piece of the pie. I don't know. I just thought that this horse was dropping to a place where he could win today.
I mean, too, he did catch 2 wet tracks coming back, but I don't know. Yes, I can see where people would like him. I thought the 2 Rob Atras horses were a bit interesting. Glory Road ran against way tougher in his last start. I mean, he's been running an open 40s. Now he's in a restricted claimer second start for Rob Atras. Now he is turning back in distance, and I don't know if he necessarily gets that much pace, obviously, to run into, as it doesn't tend to materialize. But I just thought, as far as class relief, he gets it too.
He's getting the big class release. There's just one race going 7. All of his other races are going a mile or beyond, and I worry about with the lack of pace in here, apparent pace in here. I thought he was a little bit up against it, and this entry is going to take money because I think at some point people think Striking Speed is going to go refine his form, and
he's been bad.
He's been awful.
I mean, it was a ridiculous spot against Bo Liam and Witzel 2 back, but
no excuse. I mean, it went fast last time, I guess. I
don't know. He looked like a horse that was running on one breath. You know what I mean? Like he got washy and then he just spurted off and then he had nothing.
Yeah.
So
there's a reason he's run twice in 10 and a half months.
Yep. All right. Well, that will do it for the first 5. We'll take a quick break here on Talking Horses.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com.
Nice to hear Greg Wolf's voice as he will be back live off a little bit of a break from last weekend on America's Day at the races. But you're watching Talking Horses here with Maggie Wolfendale and Anthony Stabile. As again, we're off the turf here. So race number 6 on the main track at 1 mile and 1/16th. And we both landed on number 9 in here, Top Gun Tommy. Anthony, he is just way the horse to beat. He has speed, putting blinkers on. He's just run faster figures on the dirt consistently than any of these.
What do we know about bug rider Jose Gomez?
I don't know much.
I don't either. I know he's over 11 so far in his career.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if he's been working for Kelly, maybe at Monmouth.
That's
what we need our friend John Atfield to chime in.
Yeah, John, give us a text. Let us know who Jose is. So this, if you wanted to have a courtrum drama based
what
on
did we just show?
Based on snatch and grab
that was Top Gun Tommy.
That was
bold. That was
boldish. That was boldish. Amazingly finding himself on a loose lead. With
good. Watch that for the 8th race.
With Top Gun Tommy getting his face ripped off.
Yeah.
I don't know what went on. The blinkers go on. They put a 10-pound bug on.
It's go time.
My guess is it's go exactly. You know, I was going to use the exact same term. It looks like it's go time, right? Top Gun Tommy's just ready to rumble today, and
I thought Fingal was a little bit interesting. You don't have him anywhere. He's run well in intentional dirt races too, and now it's for Rudy Rodriguez. John Atfield, the best, works for me here now and came from Monmouth with Kelly. So, like we assumed.
So there you go.
Thank you, John. As Fingal, Rudy Rodriguez is a little bit more known for his dirt horses, and the fact that he keeps this guy in on the dirt, I thought that angle was a bit interesting. So you went with the 8 next, Purple Hearted. he battled the whole way on the lead, and the horse he battled with only beat 2 horses. It was a race that completely came apart.
I would imagine they're gonna leave out of here 9-8 today, and I think they can go to the wire 9-8 today. I thought High Tide was a little interesting.
But he's only run well on wet tracks.
He has. He's only run well, but he's also only run well with some class relief, right? He started his career with Todd Pletcher, and yeah, I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying. I just thought him at a little bit of a price. Ignore the morning line.
I loved him on the dirt or turf rather.
I thought at a little bit of a price he was interesting. To be honest with you, when I play pick 4s and pick 5s today, I'm going to have a strong lean with Top Gun Tommy. I'll have one saver ticket with Purple Hearted, but I think Top Gun Tommy he's going to be 7 of 5 today. And if as all this kid has to do is put the source on the front end today, and I think this thing's over.
All right, it's race number 7 on the dirt, 6.5 furlongs. Other than for the New York breds, I think it's Big Bobby's day.
What's the old poker adage? If you sit at the table and you look around for the sucker and you don't find one, it's usually you. I mean, this horse has run 4 times in his life. River Dog won by 7. Judge and Jury won by 8 1/4. And then he ran into Gold Panda, who was coming back in 2 weeks.
Right. There's always been a horse that you're like, well, I think that one's probably better than him. And today there isn't.
Today it's his yard.
Yep.
He's walked over there 4 times so far, and he's walked into somebody else's yard 3 of them.
Yep.
Today it's his yard.
Yep. I couldn't agree with you more.
And he has such a, you know what it is, Maggie? His with the buyers, he has such an edge.
Such an edge.
Nobody's ever run. Now look, I'm sitting here telling you Top Gun Tommy's going to win and pay $460, and this one's going to win and pay $340. But sometimes you got to take your things.
Yeah.
You got to take your things. We yell at the domino table. You got to take your things. Don't leave the double 4 there. Take your things. He's going to look around the paddock today, and he's going to say to himself,
I got Fenway to beat.
I got Fenway to beat. That's what he's going to say. I wish I could walk into a paddock and say I got Fenway to beat.
Well, Fenway, to be fair, was 3-5 last time in a woeful field. But it was kind of his first start for the. I know he doesn't run under John Terranova's name, but he had stayed from his start off the bench with John, and we saw him do his thing on the front end. He's a fast horse. Maybe he improves upon his 77 last time. Maybe he takes his gate to wire here. I don't see anybody quite as fast as him to run with him. He's definitely the biggest threat in here. Let's take a look, though, at the wild card. And that's on the outside with number 10, Uno, as we'll check out his race, which just so happens to have Big Brown Shoes in there as well. This is his debut. He's under a ride from about 3/8, if not more, out in here. Then he goes and tries the Rego Park, which was won by his stablemate Perfect Munnings, and then he tries to stretch out. That didn't go well. Now he's back off of that long layoff of 10 months. Gelded, gets Lasix. Todd Pletcher, I didn't send this stat in, but off of a 6-month plus layoff on dirt from turning back, he's 21 for 67.
That's
So,
over that's just under
31%.
33%.
Yeah.
This horse also gets an aluminum pad today. We haven't seen this horse for. I mean, it's a complete kitchen sink.
Yeah.
He's the wild card, right? The problem is you can't call him a fuzzy because he's going to be too short to be a fuzzy.
This is true.
He's the wild card.
Because, too, he's running those figures as a late 2-year-old, early turn 3-year-old. So he ran a 76 and a 73.
Yeah.
So with the 10-point improvement.
I had a tip on this horse first time out. And I was afraid to fire because of the muddy track.
Yeah.
And he won.
It almost looked like he wasn't handling it
Correct.
at first.
And then I think based on that effort,
Yeah.
he took all the money into his stablemate Perfect Munnings next time. Didn't get the money. Didn't have to clean us a trip that day either, I didn't think. And then he came back into Gander and just didn't fire again, taking some money into Nicky DeVest. Where is Nicky DeVest?
I don't know.
Witness
Haven't
protection.
seen
I
him.
don't know where he is. Anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, gelding, Lasix, aluminum pad, 9 months,
I feel like Todd's horses don't run particularly well when
and
they have
he's
aluminum
running
pads
into
on.
a horse that.
That's proven with recency.
Yeah.
Race number 8 off the turf, mile and an eighth. Now, there's just a horse in here I couldn't resist with that pedigree. And I don't know why Christophe Clement has chose to run him on the turf. But Space Launch by Bernardini, much better dirt influence. Damn, greatest stakes winner on the dirt, won our top flight, half to Victim of Love, 2-time vagrancy winner, half to High North, stakes winner going long on the dirt. Space Mines going 5 for 9, running mid 90 buyers. Then there's Banner Island, who won the Grade 2 8 Bells. Now, but most of them, half of them were by Speightstown, who is a sire who gets either surface. Bernardini predominantly gets dirt horses.
I hate to see my Racing Khaleesi get so excited.
I'm so excited.
I know you are.
Because I thought this horse was a dirt horse.
For those of you who don't know, Maggie is my Racing Khaleesi for you Game of Thrones fans out there.
Which I'm not, so the irony just continues.
At least once, maybe twice,
He's
this
scratched.
late. So don't get your hopes too high. I don't know if Christophe
I'll be
is,
scratched again.
putting the what do they call Nantucket red pants on and gonna maybe make
They're
it scratch.
They're out of season. Come on, fashion folk off.
Maybe he's gonna try and push the sun back in the sky for another day. I have no idea. But this horse, because I've been excited for this horse to run on the dirt too. For everything you just said, and this horse has shown some ability on the turf. So I just think this is a good horse.
Yeah.
And maybe the dirt's gonna be his surface. It's almost like Christophe is the proverbial trying to ask the cute girl out on a date or the cute boy out on a date, and he gets there, and he's like, I'm not going to do
Just
this.
kidding.
I want to put this horse back on the turf.
Yeah.
I can't pull the trigger.
I don't want to embarrass myself.
I can't pull the trigger. Because it makes way too much sense to try this horse on the dirt.
Right? I mean,
No, that scares me. Doesn't that scare you a little bit?
It did. And I said, you know what? I've wanted to see this horse on the dirt since he
Scares me a
debuted
little bit.
last year. I'm just going to go with it.
He's had
Probably
multiple
will blow
opportunities.
up in my face. But number 14, Boldish in here. Now, we've seen a completely different Boldish whilst in the Linda Rice barn. Does he, A, stretch out to a mile and eighth? I have slight reservations about that. And, I mean, his last race, where did it come from? I guess we could gauge how he's going to run here with Top Gun Tommy's.
You can, a little bit. His 2 races for Linda Rice are exponentially better than anything he's done in the past, like you mentioned. He handled the mile stretch out fine last time, but he did it under ideal circumstances, able to walk the dog on the front end. And he's, in all likelihood, and by the way, Louis Saya is going to ride the 13. John Velasquez is going to ride the 15 in here. I think that's important to note with my first Grammy.
Okay.
Especially because my assumption is, and this is a horse who's done his best running one forward. My assumption is Louis is going to be aggressive with my first Grammy. I don't know if he's getting the 9 furlongs. He hasn't been able to get 9 furlongs in his other 3 attempts. I don't know if that's happening. So Boldish, in all likelihood, and now Boldish is won from well off the pace, Boldish, in all likelihood, is not going to have his way on the front end like he did last time, and he's going to have to sit off of my first Grammy. That's the only, and like I said, it's kind of mitigated by the fact that he's already won from well off of a fast pace.
Well, what about King Cause? He's inside. Steve.
He's inside, but is he fast enough? I know on turf he is. I don't know if he's fair. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think he is.
Okay.
But I think he's dangerous because he's run well enough on the dirt.
Yeah.
And he's second off of a layoff. But then again, you wonder, a horse getting older, do they kind of show that preference a little bit more to the turf?
Right. You see these horses. These horses can be a little finicky, right? You'll see horses that love wet tracks early in their career,
and
detest them later on in life. You will see it the other way every now and then as well. Horses that couldn't stand up in the slop, they'll rattle off 2 or 3 in a row. If more often than not goes the other way, they start to not like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is it's a 5-horse field, but this is a real interesting race because
and I mean, does
you have
Dust
King
Devil
Cause
recover? His last 2 efforts?
Off the private purchase, right? He doesn't run 2 steps first time out. Last time out,
I thought he was wide. Dak Daniels was kind of saving ground, but I didn't find it as that big of an excuse.
Last time out, they tried this horse 1.5 miles on the turf. I mean, his pedigree tells you he's not going to get 1.5 miles on any surface on a horse van.
Yeah.
Yet they ran him, and now he's in a spot where he's in a 5-horse off the turf field.
Right.
I think any of these horses go in.
Moving on. as I'm always late for everything
La
in my
finale.
life. Running late on Talking Horses, race number 9, New York bred maiden special weight mile here, and I thought this was kind of an interesting race. We both ultimately went to BC Glory Days, as we will check out actually his first start of his career, if we can go to that, guys. I didn't realize we'd both pick him. But BC Glory Days, this is not the first start of his career. We'll check out Blitz to Win here, who's down on the
You could just leave it now, buddy.
I can adapt. Blitz to Win's had his chances, though. Anthony, I don't know. Maybe
Could
he
never
was a bit
pick this horse in a million
intimidated.
years. You couldn't put 500 on the table for me to pick this horse. Off of this effort.
I'm with you. He was supposed to win last time. We saw Lucky Brody there. I thought running okay in a losing effort. But we both went to BC Glory Days because ultimately his first race could... Now, obviously, Blitz to Win
There he
boosted up
is.
his tone a little bit. Big white face on the rail there. And it was on a muddy sealed racetrack. We do see Brew Pub running second here, who does have the look of professional maiden. He's looking for his first win in 17 starts today. But this horse ran well. He did all the dirty work just to be run down by It's Gravy in the end. So who got the perfect setup.
Perfect trip winner. Yeah, this horse takes a tough beat for second as well this afternoon.
Head bob.
Yeah, I mean, he just makes a lot of sense. Getting back to what you would think is his preferred surface. I know they kept running this horse on the turf, but
I didn't get that.
it looks like a dirt horse.
Me too.
Looks like a dirt horse to me.
My notes say does not look like a turf horse.
No, I don't have those notes, but that's good to know. I tell people all the time, that's the if I could steal anything in life, if I had the guts to steal anything in life, I would steal that.
Stop.
I would.
Number 8, Umbria is interesting. You have him third, I have him second. As you know, he debuted going 6. This is the half to Admonson, as well as Winner's Laugh. Admonson won the Holly Hughes. And my Munnings, a versatile sire, just like his grandsire, Speightstown. Debuted behind American Revolution, who is going to be the favorite for
And
the
Water's
Empire
Edge,
Classic.
yeah.
He also finished third behind Hot Rod Charlie and Midnight Bourbon last time out in the PA Derby. So he's very talented.
He was
This
8
horse
to
was just freaking green.
He was 8-1 into those horses.
Yeah.
8-1 into those two horses. He
And
didn't.
Linda's
He
barn.
kind of just walked out of the gate, and then
the
he got white.
kickback, he's
Yeah,
like,
he was just like his day was over. Like,
yeah.
I think that's why they ultimately just put the horse right. And that is not along with his pedigree, put him right on the turf. But he's run nicely since. He stretches out.
I didn't love his last race on the turf, though. But the fact that Linda comes back quickly, which she does have success with, and goes to a maiden special weight on the dirt. When Linda speaks confidently or enters confidently, makes us
Coming
confident
back
taking
in
her
1
horses.
week on the dirt. It's not like she's coming back in a week on the turf because we only got 5 or 6 weeks of turf left. She's coming back in a week on the dirt. And I think that's important to point out.
Yeah. All right, Umbria, the interesting player here. Both of us a little against Blitz to Win. We'll see if he can get the job done, though. One of 2 horses for Barkley Tag. That'll do it for us on Talking Horses. Who's your partner tomorrow, Greg or
Greg or
Acacia?
Acacia, I don't know.
Well, you have
It's like the
mixed up.
mystery tag team partner in the old WWE days. And his partner.
It's like your dream. That's your
is.
dream scenario.
It absolutely is.
I mean, have you ever gotten into a ring?
Yes, I got into a ring with Demolition about 6 years ago at City Field for an old day after American Pharaohs Belmont. I got a picture with Demolition when I was 12 years old, the day after my 12th birthday at WrestleMania 5, and I have a picture with Demolition when I was 37 years old. Because that makes sense, right?
I mean, it's just
Axe
so
and smash.
you. It's
Axe
so
and
you.
smash.
Do we have any billboards in Francisco that I need to run through quickly? Again, make sure you use your Naira Bets account when playing today's races. If you don't have one, you can benefit from that Breeders' Cup promo. Free play, $25. Use promo code CUP25 plus the $200 deposit match bonus, 50-50 bonus as well. Bet 50 each at Belmont and Delaware Park and earn that $15 bonus. Make sure you opt in, though. Check out NairaBets.com. And the Saturday contest Friday is when you need to register.
5 p.m.
5 p.m. is the cutoff. $300 buy-in, live money contest, and win those cash prizes each and every week. So glad we get to do those. And if you're at home, make sure you stay tuned with us on America's Day at the Races. Myself, Greg Wolf, Richard Migliori, and Acacia Courtney will have you covered. Big A will be joining us this weekend, too, for the Breeders' Crown races at the Meadowlands.
Sunday as well.
And
All
Sunday.
weekend.
Yeah, all weekend.
Halloween. I make a lot of money around Halloween. I go on houses and stuff. So it's that time of year.
Okay. I mean, your hobbies just never cease to amaze me. That will do it for us here on Talking Horses. Again, off the turf today. And for that, we will send it up to the one and only John Imbrial, who will bring you a reprise of those scratches and changes.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to beautiful Belmont Park. Right now, a mix of sun and clouds, the temperature around 60. Main track is fast, and we are off the turf today, no turf racing. In today's first race, scratch number 7, Starship Raina. First race, scratch the 7. Race 2 is off the turf, and there'll be no place, show, exacta, quinella, trifecta, or superfecta wagering. Scratch 1, Hit the Nail. 2, Dancing Firefly. Scratch 3, Exfiltration. Also scratch 4, Raving. 5, Saluki. 7, Saigon. Scratch 8, Hiya Harry. 10, Decreed. 11, Favorite Impulse. And 12, Escape with Friends. Second race, scratch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11, and 12. In the third, scratch number 4, Subsidiary. Scratch the 4.